Hello, welcome to today's episode of Marriage Conflict. Today we are going to be exploring the topic childlessness, breaking the barrier. Hello, we have our guest in the studio, Uzago Arinze. He's going to co-work with me in discussing this topic. If this is your first time of joining, so don't forget we are discussing the topic. Hello, welcome to today's episode of Marriage Conflict. Today we are going to explore the topic childlessness, breaking the barrier of the stigma of oh, sorry.
With the network.
Yes. I don't know what's going on today. Network, you have to take your time because I don't know what's really going on today.
Yeah.
You're welcome back. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
So you're on live on ICTV. Today we are going to be discussing childlessness. So Mr. Arinze Uzago is our guest. He's actually the first male guest we're having on our studio. He is married and he has children. He's a Papa Squad. He has four quadruplets, right? You're welcome
Yes.
to today's show. I hope you're ready.
Thank
You're ready for us.
yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So we have a stereotype on childlessness. Of course, some people just don't want to have children. You understand? They think these children are just coming to disturb them. So they go into marriage hoping not to have children. But that's not predominant in African setting. Like over here in Africa, like in Nigeria, people go into
Yes.
marriage for the purpose of having children. And then when they don't have these children, they become disturbed. So we are going to categorize childlessness into two: those that want to have children and those who don't want to have children. We know that what we have predominant in Africa, in Nigeria, for instance, is having children once you get married. So I would want you to please give us your definition of childlessness, what it means when you say someone doesn't have a child, a married
Yeah.
couple that are childless.
Yeah. For me, as someone who has actually experienced childlessness, you begin to talk about maybe a couple who got married, let's say, give or take an average of 2 years without their own child or children, either biological or adopted. So for me, it spans from those 2 years going into 3, 4, 5, and and the rest of that. So the actual definition is, for us here in Africa, is simply, you know, married couples who have not had their own children after marriage, and they are hoping to have. Just like you said, there are people who maybe don't want to have. There are those who still want to have, but they don't want to have more than one or two or three, as the case may be. But basically, it's all about not having a child when the couple desire to have one.
All right, okay. So I
Yeah.
would want to ask you about a particular stereotype associated with childlessness. You know, there are this kind of people whom really do not want to have children. They don't have strength for to go through the stress of nurturing a child. From birth to infancy to the child grows. So, what do you really think is their problem? Those sets of people, because in marriage, one of the reasons why God created union is for procreation.
Yeah.
So those who really want to go into marriage for companionship, but they don't want children, they just want someone to stay with, a spouse, but they don't want an offspring. So what do you think about those kind of people?
Well, we live in an era of allowing choices. You don't have to interfere or have very basic what do I call that? Very basic opinion about someone's choice. So currently, that's where we are in the world right now. And
Mhm.
so I'll take it down to being, all about choice.
Okay, you don't think
Some
you don't think they are selfish and immature? You think it's their choice?
oh,
Yes, of course, because their parents went through the pains of bringing them to the world and nurturing them, and then they don't want to go through that pain. So are they not being so selfish?
well, will I say someone is being so selfish on them, for their self, or being selfish on the their own self. You understand what I mean? Because
Of course, of
when you
course.
have kids, it gives you focus. You, it gives you a desire to work hard. It gives you something. It
Mhm.
gives you a focal point. To
Because you're actually
go
working
out
for
there and
some
do
people.
more.
And it makes you
Yeah.
more
So when
responsible,
someone
right?
doesn't, when someone,
Because there are some things you would want to do, and then when you
yes, and
remember
that's
you have people looking up to you, you have to hold back.
exactly. So when someone says they don't want that for themselves, well, will I have so much say in it? That's the point. you know. So
All right.
that's what I mean by, we live in the era where we respect lots of choices, even if it goes against our norms and values. You know, now someone makes a choice, and you try to say, "Oh, this is not right." You see millions of people saying, "What's rushing you and saying, what's your business? Why should you get involved?" So
Yes.
our choice.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is it.
It's
We totally that.
all right. Okay. So
Yeah.
before you tell us how it was for you when you were waiting unto the Lord for your own blessings. Of course, you've always been blessed. It's just that people, when these children doesn't come, people don't feel settled. Couples don't feel settled. They feel they are missing out on something. That's something that they're not complete. That's for us in Nigeria, because I know in some Western country some of them don't care whether the children come or they don't come. And like we discussed, they see it as an option. It's an option, it's a choice. I read somewhere on the internet where somebody was saying that she wants to sue her parents for bringing her into this world without her consent. So I was wondering how and where she had wanted her parents to seek her consent from. Is it when she was in heaven, or when she really cannot give a consent? So I really don't understand where she was heading to when she said she was going to sue her parents for bringing her into the world without her consent. And then she went as far as to say that she's not going to have children. She's not going to conceive. She's not going to take in. She's not going to, but she wants children. You understand? She's not
Yeah.
going to conceive, but she wants children. So when she was
Oh.
pressed further, when she was interviewed on that, she said that she can adopt. Yes, she can adopt children. By that, she's going to seek their consent. Even though the consent is not going to come directly from them, but the consent can come from, their guardian, those looking after them. So by that, I don't think she was right. Do you think she was right? Going to adopt and then saying she has sought their consent, the consent of the children, she was going to adopt. Because I mean, those children cannot really give their consent. All they wanted were, okay, you're going to be our mom. All right, that's fine. Let's follow you and then see what future holds for us.
Yeah, it's still, we still have to take it down to that, because, it doesn't really make sense. You don't want, if someone says they don't want to conceive, but they appreciate the gift that comes after another has conceived and given.
Hello. All right, so don't forget that you are watching us live on show remains marriage conflict. Today we are discussing childlessness. People married with the intention of having children. Unfortunately, they are not able to get children as at when they propose. Not like entirely they're never going to have children, but they did not have children when they want to have children. Those are the people we're talking about today because in marriage, most people go into marriage in Africa for the purpose of having children. In fact, some people want to have more children in their home. But because of one constraint or the other, they are not able to have these children. This issue caused a lot of problems in a lot of homes. There are so many families in disarray simply because the woman was not able to give the man children. It causes a lot of problem, and the man might go as far as getting a second wife, engaging in polygamous lifestyle for the quest of children because he wants to have more and more children. So we want to hear from you. We want to read your comments. What do you think should be the hope of this couple whom are seeking for the fruit of the womb? How do you think they should manage it? In Africa, if you get married, after 1 year you don't have a child, is a problem. Even if these people does not talk to you, the society will make you feel, even if your in-laws does not talk to you about it, the society will make you feel like you're missing out on something. Even your mindset is going to tell you, I know the way I belong. I don't know where I belong. Let me just use that phrase. So I think that uh, if you have experienced childlessness, like our guests, experienced childlessness for years. He was moving from one place to the other with his wife, seeking for the fruit of the womb. And at the end of it all, we are blessed with four babies at a time, quadruplets. So he is Papa's father of school. That is, when you come to his house, you will see the 4 market days in Igbo tradition. Papa Squad. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Mr. Rize? All right, so we go on. I want to read from you. What do you think couple whom are seeking for the fruit of the womb should do in order to be able to help themselves? There are various categories of couple seeking for the fruit of the womb. There are people who are medically certified to be okay, they are fine. They just have to wait. Okay, maybe this is not the time the Lord has stipulated for them to have children. There are these other couple who have one medical issue or the other. So we are talking about those who do not have any issue. Medical wise, they are fit to have children. Okay, Mr. Arinze, can you hear me now? What do you think? Can you hear me now? Oh my God, I don't know what's going on. So what should be the hope of this couple? How should they take life? Because maybe the man is getting impatient, and he decides to seek help outside. And he decides to seek help outside. Outside their matrimonial home, they want to prove to the world that they are fertile. Likewise, the man. What advice do you have for such men? You can write it down in the comment section. We want to read from you. We want to know how best couple can handle childlessness in their marriage. Because there are so many couples out there whose problem are childlessness. They don't have children, and it is a problem for them. We need you to talk to this couple. I think we lost our guest. I don't know what is happening. The network is very poor. But we'll go on. We go on. All right. Tochukwu says, thanks, Juliet, for this important topic. All right. Thank you so much, Tochukwu Fodile. It's nice having you on the show. So we know that infertility is a devastating and heartbreaking period for every couple. But we want them to know that no matter the situation, no matter what they are going through, that God is going to show for them. God is going to come through for them. You just have to keep on taking your medics, going to the hospital, preparing yourself and your home to welcome your baby. Because of course, you're definitely going to have your own children. I just hope that our guest is going to come back on the studio, because he's supposed to share with us his own experience. His own experience on how they waited for years before his wife was able to conceive. All right, Arinze, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I don't know.
Can you hear us?
Network. Yes, I can.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, I can hear you now. But I don't know. Maybe your network was bad.
I guess so. I had to change my location so as to rejoin.
All right, thank you so much. We are sorry for stressing you out, but this is a very important topic that we are discussing today. We want to help a lot of couple we want them to let off a lot of things from their chest. You know, so many people might be thinking it's just them, it's just their marriage. They can't have children, this, that, but they don't know that so many people are looking for children. So many couples are seeking for the fruit of the womb. I know about 3 couples whom, not like the wife doesn't take in, not that the woman in the family doesn't take in, but each time she takes in, she miscarried the baby. And then there is this other couple who the woman doesn't even take in at all, but medically they are all right. The couple are all right. So before you share your experience with us, I would want to ask you again, what do you think couple who are going through such situations should do? Couple who are medically okay, they don't have any problem medical wise, they are just waiting for the perfect time. What do you think they should do? So before you answer this question, I want to read the comment of Tochukwu Ofole. He says the issue of childlessness is both spiritual and medical. However, it can be more medical than spiritual. Do you think that's true?
Yes, I tend to tilt towards the angle of it being medical, more medical than spiritual. Yeah, because there are couples that can say to be, childless because they are not compatible. The two of them might be okay, sound, but they are not compatible. So that boils down to always assessing that medical aspect. Getting yourself a very good gynecologist, good hospitals with very good facilities, and assessing. They can always help you assess the best options, because there are always a way out. There are always options out there when it comes to childlessness. So there are always options. So when you get the best facilities and doctors who understand the situation, they will be very much help to tell you the best option for you and your partner,
your spouse. Okay. All right, let me read another comment. Toshko says the issue of childless. Okay, sorry, I've read that. He said everything being okay, then let them continue banging and believing. If they are rich, let them do IVF. Simple. So do you think IVF is a perfect solution for couples seeking for the fruit of the womb? They've tried every other option. Do you think IVF is the best solution?
Yeah, IVF is one of the best options. Like I said before, there are a lot of options. IVF is one. It's one of the it's one of the best. And there is IUI. There is IUI that is cheaper.
Yes.
IUI is cheaper than IVF. So
all right,
it depends on financial of the couple. You can always assess that of them. But one thing about IVF is that age of there's a more that have or that of always luck. People that have through IVF, so but to two, I mean, you are done having kids. That's the advantage of IVF, but it is not cheap. That's the point.
All right. So between IVF and if IVF is not, I know both. I know IUC. Is that what you called it? IUI. That's what you called it, right? Can you hear me, Mr. Rize? Oh my God, the network is bad again. All right, so let me read another.
Yeah, IUI.
So between IUI and IVF, which one is more effective? Let's not say, okay, this one is more expensive. We're talking about the one that is more effective.
Well,
all right, let me read another comment. I think that rather than use the word childlessness, the word delayed conception is appropriate. All right, well, we chose not to use delayed conception because there are some couple, like we said, we have two categories of childlessness. Some people who do not want to have children. They have decided that they don't want children at all in their home. And then we have these other people whom, due to one thing or the other, they've not been able to have children. So that is why we cannot say delayed conceptions. Then another comment, there are quite a number of reasons for delayed conception. However, the couple must know their fertility status before or immediately after marriage is contracted. All right, so like the other show I had with Sharon on TikTok, we talked about secrets in relationships. So we said it is not good for couples to keep secrets. Prior your marriage, you are supposed to relate to your couple, to your spouse, everything going on in your life. There are some people who know that that medically they have issues with conception and they don't tell their spouse. It is also good that before you get married, that you check your status, your fertility status. Yes, and discuss it with your spouse. Whatever the result is, both of you have to sit down and talk about it and decide if you want to carry on with this marriage or not, if you want to contract this marriage or not. Because it's not going to be fair if after you've contracted the marriage and you discover that there is a very difficult situation that both of you will find it, both of you are not going to find it easy to navigate around. It's a problem. So I think that every couple should check their fertility status before they contract marriage, not even after marriage. It is important, especially here in Africa, where most people go into marriage for the sake of having children. All right. I hope to read your comments. Please, I want to know how and what do you think is the best way to support couples going through childlessness? How best can we support such couples? I wish my guest is able to come back. I'm not able to get my guest. He would have shared with us his experience, how he waited for years before finally they received their bundle of blessings. 4 at once. That's God working. That's the miracle of God. Don't forget you're watching us live on ICTV. The show remains Marriage Conflict. Today we are discussing childlessness. What do you think, or how do you think we can support couples going through childlessness? For me, I don't think it's necessary to always balk them with a lot of questions. Yes, the couple is going through childlessness. I don't think it's necessary. You keep on asking them, how is it coming up? Have you taken him? What's the problem? Did you go to the hospital today? Did you drink hot water today? Did you try having intercourse with your spouse? What styles have you tried? I don't think it is necessary. All you have to do is tell them the most reasonable thing in this world. Find a good gynae. Work with the gynae. That's the best thing you can tell such a person. The other thing you can do, if you're buoyant enough, you can find a good hospital with good facilities, medical facilities. You can take them to that hospital. You can pay the medical bills. if you are buoyant enough, take care of the bills. Let them be assessed in that hospital. If everything is fine and you want to help them further, of course, you can pay for them to uh, go through IVF, other than keeping them on their toes all the time, asking them questions. And you should always remember them in your prayers. Pray for them. Pray for God to send His Holy Spirit to dwell in their home. Let them have peace. Let them understand themselves. Let them feel love and healed all the time. Let them not think that they are missing out on anything. Of course, I know that the joy of every home is complete with children, with that bundle of blessings. But the stigma society dishes out to this kind of people, to this couple that are seeking for the fruit of the womb, makes them feel they are actually missing out on something. They are really not missing out. Remember Sarah and Abraham. At what age did they give birth to Isaac? And God even made him the multitude of all nations, made Abraham the multitude of all nations. He made him the father of everyone. What more blessing can he seek? So, I want you to know that it is not the end of the world. You're to have children. I don't want to talk about those who have children, but children. There are these other people who have children, but they don't want children. Have you considered what these other people who are seeking for the fruit of the womb are going through? Have you considered what they are going through? Do you know the amount of wealth, they spend on a daily basis seeking for the fruit of the womb? You're welcome back, Mr. Rinze. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome back. So how do you think, how do we support couples going through childlessness? How do we support them? How should the society not stigmatize them?
Yeah, like I have said severally, the issue of childlessness is something one cannot even wish upon your enemy.
Enemy, of course, yes.
So it's something that takes a toll on you. It does a lot of things to you. It takes both your mental state away from you, psychologically, financially, and all of that. So most of the times, the people, in fact, often or always, anybody going through that supported with the right advice, with the right recommendations when it comes to the medical aspect of it. I'm being told the truth because we live in a society that thrives more on spirituality. I am a Christian and I believe in God so much. But then the truth must be told. There are medical aspects of life that must be pursued while being spiritual. So the society must always tell these people the truth. When you are going through this kind of predicament, we have to support these people by telling them to go to this hospital. They are very good, and recommend the hospitals that you know that are good, or the doctors that are good in dealing with these kinds of cases. Yes, so because God wants effort. It is your effort that God
we dwell on to give you results. Thank you. Oh, I hope we've not lost you again, Mr. Reason. Can you hear me? Ooh. All right, don't forget you're watching us live on ICTV on the show Marriage Conflicts. And today we are discussing childlessness. Please remember to like, share, and comment on this show. You never can tell. You might be helping one or two couples off the line of divorce simply because they do not have children. Mr. Arinze, this network,
I don't know if this network doesn't really want us to have this wonderful discussion.
I'm telling you, I don't know what's wrong with network today. But that's okay. We continue. So please, can you tell us about a little bit about your story, your experience on childlessness? Of course, you are off that stage, but we want
Yeah.
to hear from you so that as many as a lot of couples who are watching us right now, who are going through such situation, who are still waiting to conceive, I would want them to hear from you so that they will be calming down. They will know that this thing is just a phase that is surely going to pass someday.
Yes. Okay. Well, we got married. We got married in 2015. I and my wife. And that's when we started. We started our journey. So years later, 2015, 2016, 2017, we realized that, it was no longer funny. So started going from one hospital to the other. And to be frank with you, I have never even heard about IVF or IUI or any of those things. It was at that point that the doctor started suggesting, "Oh, you guys should try IVF. You guys should try IUI." It was, in fact, it has to be the most difficult period in my entire history, because I just can't even explain what we went through. So we tried our first IVF. I guess that should be in 2017 or 18. And it failed.
So the first it failed? Oh.
Yes, it failed. And that
my God.
I used to think that, when you are younger and you experience heartbreak, I used to think that has to be
the hardest. The hardest.
So it was unexplainable, because where we did this was like an hour plus journey away from our house. So my wife cried from that place till we got home.
Oh my God. Hey.
And throughout the day,
was shattered.
Because I was thinking the thing doesn't fail. I was thinking that, okay,
that once you do it, it's final.
Exactly. So, and the manner they explain it to you, and tell you that it has failed and have to try again. Trying again means you have to go through the procedures. You have to start looking for money again. So I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't even live with it. So, but it took the friends I have to. I remember my friend, and he will always travel from Owerri anytime.
I didn't get the name. He said Anthony.
No, Andrew.
Okay,
Andrew.
Andrew.
Anyway, he's my best friend. So I remember in that 2017 or 18, I texted him because I couldn't even make it call. I was dumbfounded. So I texted him and told him, this thing failed though. So he left everything he was and took the next bus to Oka from Owerri.
Yeah.
We had to sit down and, we didn't even talk about it. We started talking about football and politics, So that was when I got myself, and that was when I was able to, have a hold on my wife and console her, tell her we try again. So 2 years later, we tried again. But this time around, we tried in another facility. So the doctor said,
All right, we are having challenges with the network. Okay, thank God. Our guest is back. All right.
Yes. Can, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so so we tried again. This time around, it was in Lagos. The doctor said he has a better equipment in Lagos. We should come over to Lagos and do it.
All right.
And this kind of journey, it's always it's usually a personal thing. So even though we had families and friends in Lagos, we didn't even inform them we were coming.
You excluded them.
Yes, and you
I can
imagine I've
understand.
all my life here. Likewise, my wife. So we don't even know places in Lagos. So we got to Lagos without knowing our left from our right. Looking for hotels, and it was just at some point we missed our road. I remember it was in
Oh,
Ike, and we had to use bikes from here to there. So it was really a torrid journey.
I can
Then
imagine.
we eventually, when we eventually settled down, we had to stay there for like another 1 week plus, about 10 days or thereabout, before we went back to Oka. And 14 days after that, when you are supposed to know the result, it failed again.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
Oh my
but in
God.
between that, we've already had an IUI. So, and that IUI failed. We had an IUI 1 year after the first failed IVF. Then we had another IVF again, and it failed. After the
Yeah, so sorry.
because I actually write a book on what we went through going to that Lagos without help, without your
Hi.
family. Yeah. So and the finances involved, because we had to stay in a hotel for a very long time.
I can imagine.
And all of that. So that one failed. So we both got tired of. We said, well, I mean, that was it. Because
With all the finances you have spent.
Exactly, because it's really financially draining.
I
We are
can understand.
both civil servants, and it takes a lot of savings, takes you a lot of denials to have money to do something like that.
Carry on with yes.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's not even assured. So we said, well, I mean, that was it. We're tired.
Oh my God.
On a second thought, I am someone who experienced life, what life was all about. So
And you're pessimistic.
Yes, I already know one thing about life is that once you give up, life gives up on you. So I told my wife that we are not giving up. We go again. We have to go again. So this time around, we had to save and save and save and save and save for about another year or two. And with the help of some of our family members who contributed, we were able to do the last one, which was 2 years ago. And at that point, I didn't even know how I was going to take it to actually fail. But I already had that strong mind that let anything happen. But all I know
At this point now you are optimistic. Because
so
before you were expecting the worst. And now you really needed a positive result.
Yeah, so I remember the day we went, 2 weeks after the last one that we did. So they sent me downstairs to tell them to upload the result.
Okay.
To their system. So I come up there. So the doctor
that's the P-test, the pregnancy test, right? The results of the test if it's positive. All right.
Yes. All right. So I went to tell them. On a second thought, my legs couldn't carry me up there.
Oh
Like
my
they
God.
much, I was feeling numb. So I just managed to get back there and tell them, come. Why are you people even? Why must it be the doctor that will tell me the results here? Yeah,
You don't need the
you have
doctor
to.
to announce it to you.
Said, no, I have to. I said, yeah, because I know one of them. I said, listen, I can't go up there. I can't walk up. I'm tired of this. Just tell me the result. So he said, you told us here that this one would not go fail. So why are you doubting it? I said, I'm not doubting it. Tell me now. He said, what do I think? I said, tell me. So he said, well, if a bala abago,
Oh, that's nice.
So that's the experience, and after that they were supposed to be three. It was supposed to be triplets. That's what we were expecting. After
the scan.
weeks, yes. So but there was the fourth one that was dying off. So the doctor said that fourth one will be off by the next time we come. So by the next time we came for scan, we were only seeing the three of them.
Okay.
So 2 months later, I was joking with my wife. I said, what if that fourth one was still in there, just like a joke?
That was not a joke. The Holy Spirit was speaking through you.
She was even binding me and saying, are you the one to carry the four of them? We'll take time, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So all the tests we were sent to, we were only seeing triplets. And in all the binds and all the provisions we were making,
You're making for three.
Yes. So it was on the day of delivery. Because I am telling this story for those who are still waiting, because their own testimony might or will be bigger than what I am giving today.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yes. So,
but in between, I want them to know that they cannot just fold their arms. I love the fact that you're telling us the truth, because some people will just say that it is the handwork of God, that it is miracle. So I want people to know that it is not just miracle. Does not just happen like that. You have to give in a certain level of work for that miracle to happen. You have to follow it, like Coach Crawford said, that it is more medical than spiritual. Some people will just say that they're having spiritual problem, and then they'll be going to all whatnot places, moving from one native doctor herbalist to the other, drinking different kind of concoction, destroying their organs the more, without knowing that this child is never going to come. Or even if the child finally comes, maybe the child will have one medical problem or the other. And then in most cases, you find out that the woman gives birth and give up the ghost. You understand? So in between your story, I want people to understand that you must give in medical work before, if you're having delay in conception. You really have to put in a lot of work and finance, because we thank God that scientifically it has been proven that IVF and IUI works, even though it fails at some point in time. But you can hear now that Mr. Rize and his wife gave it trial 4 times, right? I hope I'm correct.
Yeah, three times. The fourth time is the one that worked. Yeah, you're right.
That worked. So on 4 different occasions, they didn't stop. At a point, they were pessimistic. At a point, they were optimistic. So I want you, as a couple listening to us right now, to know that it is not the end of the world if you don't have a child yet. Just save up money little by little. Keep on saving. You can even ask your friends. You can even take loan, if that's what it's going to cost you to have children, because you so desire to have this child.
just to, I don't know what you want to prove, but I think it's good to have children. You understand? So please, you can go on.
Yeah, so you are right. Before the last network happened, bad network happened, I said that God does not bless nothingness. God blesses or rewards efforts.
Yes, yes.
And so while you are praying, you have to be praying upon something. You have to be asking God, let this one work. Let this one work. So which
After all,
one is
St. Paul says that prayer without work is nothing.
it's nothing exactly. So that's what it is. So yeah, you have to be doing something. And you have to be seeing the right doctors, because a lot of people will come with a lot of
Advice.
recommendations, kinds of drugs. Buy this one,
Both
do this one.
right and wrong ones.
Exactly. So the point is, get specialists. This is a very delicate matter that requires professionals to deal with. So
Yes.
I understand it's costly. It's very costly. Like, it was really. In fact, it's still telling on me all these things that we are talking about. The financial aspect is still telling on me today, but I don't regret it.
But emotionally, you're calm. You're all right
Exactly.
now.
Yes. For the past 1 year and more, I have been waking up very happy with a purpose. You understand? I feel fulfilled. I feel fulfilled,
Yes.
So back to my story.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so it was on the day of delivery that my wife was wielding, and a few minutes later we had this scream from the theater, and I mean, that really got me panicking. I felt something had gone wrong and all of that. So the usual movement, the one like we see on Nigerian movies, where the nurses will be running
confusing the spouse. And they won't give you explanation that will suit your soul.
Yeah.
And they won't allow you to go into the theater.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the most tormenting periods again, because I was just asking them, what is going on? Or where is my wife? Because that's the most important.
Of course.
I was like, wait, what's going on? They will say, wait. They brought in the oxygen, brought in this one, I just stood there and I was singing our hymns in church. So, because at that point, there was nothing to do, I didn't know what was going on. So it was later that they told me the story that they had actually finished bringing out the three of them. And when they wanted to, pack out the placenta, they saw someone's hand or leg.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was what led to the scream. So when they screamed, the doctor screamed and said, "Ora Kamadobia, is that not someone's hand?" So they now checked, and it was the fourth child.
Oh.
And miraculously, the fourth child happens to be the one that is the only boy.
Woo! That's lovely.
That's the story, and I don't get tired of telling it, because it took me 4 days to come to the realization that it actually happened. It wasn't in the movies or some books that
is real life.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that's lovely. All right. I hope we've not lost you again. So I'm going to be reading comments. Can you hear me? So I'm going to be reading comments. We have a worker. It says, in the African culture, nay, more Igbo culture, child ọmụmụ is the more reason for marriage. However, can you hear me now? However, our forefathers had a way of dealing with childbearing. What has changed between then and now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Rinze? Oh my God. Oh my God. Please come back. We have a question for you. All right. So while we wait for Mr. Rinze to restore. That's even gone up finally. All right. So I hope he's going to come back on the show. Don't forget that you're watching us live on ICTV on marriage conflict. Today, we are exploring childlessness. So we've talked about the stigma, the societal stigma on couples who are childless or who are having delay in misconception, like Tochukwu rightly said. There is a proper way of. All right, I think our guest is back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, so thank you for sharing your beautiful story with us. It's a full story because at the end of the story, miracle happened. To crown all your efforts with success, God did marvelous, and we thank God that He mixed your children. You have girls, and you have boy. So I don't think that you and your wife will have any reason whatsoever not to be happy or to say you want to try again. I mean,
No.
all the stress you went through in the 4 different times you tried out, He has given you all of them at once. So you don't have any reason to try again. But if you try again, it's still okay. In our culture, the more children you have, the more wealth you're expected to have. I hope you know that. Yes. If you have more children, you're expected to have more. You are expected to have more money. You understand? You have more money to raise those children, and you have more money to leave some things behind for them, because you can't just raise them and then they start struggling on their own. And then you should also know that when you are old, of course, if you have like 10 children, you're going to have different professions. You have doctors, you have lawyers, you have engineers, you have a lot of things. So you're going to have a lot of money. In fact, that guy cook, we're going to beg. Do you understand? We're going to plant a tree that grows money, that grows wealth in your house. So, but that's okay. So we have a comment here. Someone said, I have a question for your guest. As an African man, if he still didn't have a child until now, and his family is pressuring him, what would he do? You get the question?
Yes.
I think this is your 8th year in marriage. This is your So assuming you don't have a child for 8 years in marriage, and your family is pressurizing you to have a child, what are you going to do?
Okay. Well, first of all, my family will never pressurize me to have a child. So, I wouldn't even. They wouldn't pressurize me. Then, even if I've got a kind of family that will pressurize me, then I wouldn't want it to be a negative kind of pressure. So, like I said, there are many other options of having it. So, if we are done and exhausted all the other options, like the IVF, like IUI, then we can as well go for adoption. That's another way. That's another way of having children. Or we would have tried what we call, there are options within IVF and IUI where you have to choose for donor. donor this or donor that or donor this or donor that, we would have equally tried that. Then if that fails, then the last resort should be to adopt. So that's me. That's how I would have handled that issue. But it is wrong for families to pressurize people. Though pressure is good for people who are not up and doing.
Did you say pressure is good?
Yeah, pressure is good to motivate people who are not up and doing. Maybe people that want to have kids, but they are not going about it the right way. They are not going to the hospital. They are not.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible? Someone
Yes,
who really wants to have, and they don't have children, they'll just fold their arms and then just waiting unto the Lord. Is that? Or you mean those couples that move from one prayer house to the other, hoping that miracle will happen? Is that what you mean?
It's possible. I have series of cases, since our story, went viral last April. I have had people who come and we talk inbox, we talk privately. So there are people who relax. There are people who don't
do anything.
Yes, they just say whenever it comes, it comes. There was one woman who said her husband refused to go for IVF. That it is against his religion, like it's against his faith.
Okay.
That they are going to have kids through when God wants them to have kids through the natural way and all of that. So she employed me, she begged me to speak with the husband. So because the guy was following me, so I tried to link up with the guy and we talked, and he started talking faith, he started talking Christianity and all of that. And I told him that I am actually, even though I am young, but you can say I am an elder in the Anglican Church. So I understand the Bible, I understand Christianity and all of that. So we had to talk. And I told him that God can always bless you through other means. It mustn't be the one that you want, because this one you're talking about is the one that you want. So it took a lot of back and forth before he gave in. And I believe they are going to have their first child. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but the wife later told me that they are pregnant, because later yielded after we spoke, and she got pregnant. And I don't know, very soon I'm still waiting for them to catch me up. The wife has delivered. So human beings are complex, and this period got me to meet some of the very complex set of people. So yes, there are people who don't do anything, they just sit in there.
All right. So thank you for your honest response.
Yeah.
Thank you for your honest response. I want to read another question for you. What advice would your guest offer couples currently under different form of pressure to have children? And different form of pressure, this time around it might not necessarily be pressure from the home. Like we talked about stigmatization. I heard someone telling an elderly woman, that she's actually a witch. It's because she's a witch, that's why she don't have children, and she's going to die without anyone taking care of her. So if, for instance, I don't have children and I had someone telling somebody that kind of a thing, me myself, I'm not really going to feel okay. I will strive, I will do everything humanly possible to see if I'm going to have children. I'm already under pressure, you understand? And then some people is not really, maybe they are not pressurized in any way. They are the one pressurizing themselves. They feel like they're missing out on something. They feel that this is the hardest moment for them. They can't just take it. Some people don't have a shock absorber to, to withstand such situation, especially here in Africa. So he's trying to ask, what advice will you give them? How do they handle such situation? And then I will also want to add, assuming that the wife is finding it very, very difficult to be comforted. Most times the man might, I wouldn't say he's taking it easy, but I would say he's trying to be a man. He can't be crying at the same time the woman is crying. You understand? So the woman might be the one, even adding pressure to the man. So how really are we going to advise this set of couple?
Okay, well, first of all, one of the things I said or I've written about is that it takes two people to make a baby. It takes the man and the wife to make children. So when those children are not forthcoming, it still takes the resolution of both of them, most especially the man, to hold forth till the children start coming. Because they will definitely come if you're persistent. If you're persistently knocking on that door, seeking solution, it will come. It will come. I am sure of that. It will definitely come. So, but the problem is, the man is the head of the home, and the head doesn't end with providing food on the table and all of that. The head requires security. So you have to ensure that you are the chief security officer of your family. So when you are the chief security officer, you are barricading your home away from that pressure, external pressure. Then when you come into the internal pressure, it's you who will still, give that woman who is pressurizing her
All right. I think the network is at work again. I'll quickly read the comments we have here. Okay, our guest is back. Don't forget to share, like, and comment on this video. We are live on ICTV on the show Marriage Conflict. And today we are discussing childlessness with our guest, Mr. Arinze. So before the network cut us off, you are trying to answer the question Ebuka asked on the advice you give to couple, going through a lot of pressure due to childlessness. So we are rounding up the show. We are coming to the end of the show. We have Chokube Hampo. He says it's a nice topic. He's complimenting us. And then we have another comment. How can a woman dealing with infertility convince her husband for adoption? Can you hear me, Mr. Rinze?
Yes.
So this is the last comment the last question we're going to answer before we round up the show. How can a woman dealing with infertility convince her husband for adoption?
Okay. Before I answer that, let me conclude quickly on the last question. So, one thing I must have to tell couples going through this is that's pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That too much pressure stirs up anxiety. And anxiety always destabilizes your body system. And once your body system is stabilized, there are tendencies that, conceiving will become difficult. So while you pressure yourself, let's say, instead of using the word pressure, you say motivate yourself to always be doing something until something happens. Don't put yourself on unnecessary pressure that will stir up anxiety. Anxiety is one of the things that lead to stretched infertility. So coming to the last question about how a woman will convince her husband for adoption. Well, I don't know. We have a lot of difficult people living around us, both men and women. So it all boils down to what kind of person the husband we are talking about is. A difficult person who is rooted into religion or tradition, you will find it difficult to convince that kind of person. I've spoken with some men, issues of this infertility and stuff, and I've come across very easygoing people who said, "Oh, we didn't even know." I was telling someone about IVF. Someone on my friend's list that approached me. It was like he didn't even know that it was someone that told him that IVF, that their children, some of them are not normal, or that some of them are, it doesn't end.
They are not gifts from God. They are scientifically made.
Exactly. So I didn't know until I told
They are
him.
manufactured with machine.
Exactly. So I had to tell him I even had to take him through the processes, for him to understand that there was nothing so different from the natural conception. So before they went for the IVF, that was last year, and the wife gave birth middle of this year or something, and I was in their child education. So sometimes I joke with him and I say, "How far? What of your child?" He says, "I beg, stop. My child is normal. He looks like me."
Okay, looks like him now.
Yeah,
he was actually thinking the child would look like the doctor.
It's about how the level
All right, so we've come to the end of the show on childlessness, breaking the stigma. Our guest today, Mr. Arinze Uzago, we thank you for coming. We thank you, our viewers, for staying through with us. We appreciate you all. So I want to use this medium to encourage every couple going through childlessness or delay in conception. Just know that it is not the end of the world for you. You can try so many options available, medical options available. Who knows? You heard how our guest explained his own experiences. Who knows when the Lord is going to answer your prayers? Please stop moving from one prayer house to the other, or from one herbalist to the other, taking all what not concussion. Go to the right hospital. Use the best gynecologist. Save up money and try your best. Above all, calm down yourself. Don't allow your tempo to be so high, because if it is high, there are chances that your immune systems are not going to be able to function as they are supposed to. And if that's the case, your woman is not going to conceive when you want. You have to balance your immune system and your psychology. Take it one at a time. I also want to encourage every other person out there who has one couple or the other seeking for the fruit of the womb. Don't stigmatize them, please. Encourage them emotionally, financially, understand them. Do not assume that this is their problem. If you're very close to them, you can talk to them one-on-one and do practical things to help them. Please be good to people seeking for the fruit of the womb. That is their hardest moment, and you never can tell. They are going through a lot of things. You wouldn't want them to lose their lives simply because they want to conceive. Love them, care for them. See you next time. Bye. Our guest, Arinze. Say bye-bye to our viewers.
Yeah, bye-bye to everybody. And thank you all for having me here today. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always coming back all the time that the network disconnected you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right.
We want you to greet our squad for us.
All right. Thank you. They will hear.
Bye. All right. Bye. Thanks.